Pokémon. You've got to catch them all, haven't you? Well, since its creation in 1995, these little pocket monsters have captured the hearts and minds of children and adults alike across the globe, giving rise to the passionate collection of hundreds upon hundreds of these little sprightly guys, from the legendary lightning detective Pikachu to, well, Klefki, which is essentially a ring of car and house keys. Yeah, I guess they're running out of ideas after a while. But what we're concerned with is perhaps the most savage Pokemon in poker creation, Mewtwo. And if he was real, oh boy, would be in a lot of trouble. Hello internet, and welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch, as today we curiously ask the question, what if Mewtwo was real? Silly Ash. You can't punch a Mewtwo in the face. Everyone knows that. And if Mewtwo was real, we better get to engineering a much more robust tactic than a fist to the face, or let's just not try and hurt it at all. Let's just be friends, right? That's the spirit of Pokemon, isn't it? If only it was that simple. Let's set the scene. Before we do that though, guys, you're all frequent followers of all things fandom, so why don't you check out our brand new sister channel over at Top 10 Beyond the Screen, where our awesome brand new host Joss, alongside the legendary Lucy McPhee, will be covering all things cinematic and silver screen. If you're a fan of movies, TV, and all things popular culture, then head over after this video and give those guys a subscribe, or even a thumbs up, or maybe even both. As the events of the Pokemon franchise have gradually revealed, Mewtwo, the legendary psychic-type bipedal feline, who for many of us was our first brush with the notion that there was something much more revealing to the Pokemon mythos than first met the eye, is a creature created after years and years of horrific gene splicing and DNA engineering on his singular cute little counterpart, or mother, I guess, Mew. Now, although this is a Mewtwo question-based video, we can't begin to answer it without first acknowledging the #1 OG Pokemon, Mew. According to a series of scientific logs found at the Pokemon Mansion of Cinnabar Island, Mewtwo was actually born of a pregnant Mew, an ancient ancestral origin of all Pokemon found deep in the jungles of Guyana, that was captured and whose embryo was experimented on by the otherwise kindly scientist, Mr. Fuji. I guess you can't judge a book by its cover, eh? Or, well, you can't expect a scientist to always adhere to an ethical code. Either way, it's a pretty complex theme that otherwise goes unnoticed throughout the canon of the Pokemon franchise, but when we really hold a lens to the origin and function of Mewtwo, it highlights an ethical dilemma. In fact, the scientific creation of this psychic anomaly is perhaps the most realistic and likely depiction of how humanity would interact with the Pokemon species if they were real. Because in essence, the encompassing theme of Pokemon is the evolution of the species, and Mewtwo is the cautionary tale of humanity meddling with the natural order, albeit a bright-coloured animated fantasy order. That's the thing though, isn't it? Mewtwo is the most dangerous Pokemon that was created by the interference of human science. He's a weapon. There are others though, although none of them are as potentially destructive as Mewtwo. In actual fact, they're just kind of sad. Voltorb and Electrode, who are just seething little angry Pokeballs that shoot lightning. Porygon, a life form made of computer data that, well, just look at those cold, dead eyes. Banette, a terrifying abandoned kid's toy. Trubbish and Garbodor, literal industrial garbage that sprang to life after human carelessness. There are many, many more, but none of them capture that hopeful, powerful joy of human Pokemon symbiosis, like we see with Bulbasaur or Squirtle or even Snorlax, my guy. With Mewtwo, the warning signs were instant, mainly because, well, he blew up the lab that created it in a hellfire of psychic energy and broke out of its prison like an adamantium-riddled Wolverine. Mewtwo is time and time again said to have the most savage heart amongst all Pokemon. Initially, especially in the events of the first Pokemon movie, it lacked any form of compassion and would strike fear into its enemies with cold, glowing eyes. The thing is, because Mewtwo, after the design of his painful, violent existence, knew only one thing: combat. It was bred to be the greatest Pokemon combatant of all time and prove its proficiency in battle by defeating anything that it deemed weaker than itself, which turned out to be pretty much everything and everyone. And while if Mewtwo was real, it would deem us all weaker than itself, and it would be pretty pissed at everyone and everything on Earth. As the events of Pokemon the first movie also explain, it takes a cute little Mew, as well as an entire boatload of Pokemon clones and Pokemon originals, battling with each other before realizing that mindless combat is futile. And a petrified Ash Ketchum exemplifies that fact with an ocean of Pokemon tears crying over him and washing away the need for Mewtwo's hatred of humanity. Uh-oh, guys, because this video is what if Mewtwo was real, not what if all Pokemon were real. Because it takes the rest of Mewtwo's species to prove to him that he is loved and that he doesn't need to fight just because humanity created him to fight. But yeah, without the possibility for that moment of redemption, Mewtwo would be the cold, hard psychic killer that he was created to be. The end of the world wouldn't be climate change or nuclear mutually assured destruction. It would probably be Mewtwo. I hope I can make this point clear enough. We would be no match for this guy. Mewtwo would swat us away like flies. Nothing in our combined global arsenals could even come close to matching Mewtwo's psychic proficiency. All of our missiles and cutting-edge railgun technologies would disintegrate before it even reached him. Guys, Mewtwo can control time. We'd be staring at the face of a cosmic god and we could only hope and beg for his mercy. If Mewtwo was real, we better hope that he's bringing some of his more reasonable friends along for the ride, because if not, game over, buds. The only thing we could do is try and befriend Mewtwo, although it would take some time. Perhaps Mewtwo would eventually realize that he doesn't have to be the vicious psychic overlord killer that he was meant to be. Throughout the franchise, he often realizes that he doesn't need to be judged by the origins of his creations, but by the altruistic choices that he can build upon. As he himself says in the closing moments of Pokémon, the first movie.
I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Well, unfortunately, folks, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Why don't you let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Before we depart, though, let's take a look at some of your most entertaining comments from over the past few days. Saul Cervantes, which is a fantastic name, may I add, says, I got a question. Unlike other YouTubers, did you guys quit school to do YouTube? Well, Saul Cervantes, that is a fantastic question. And actually, no, I'm a fully certified demonologist, and I just do this on the weekends for fun, as a little hobby. I'm just kidding, Saul. Of course I'm not a demonologist, but to answer your question, I didn't quit school. Don't quit school. Stay in school. Please, kids. Well, on that note, question is, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Cheers for sticking around all the way until the end. If you're a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.